Good morning, Cornerstone family. Rob K here, coming to you from the One Quarter Man Cave on an unbelievably cold January morning here. Hey, I just want to thank everybody that's been asking me and checking up on me about the whole shoulder thing here. If you didn't get the story, basically it's just a lifetime of abuse has finally caught up with me, and I had a couple different procedures done. Everything's going to be great. I hope to be 100% by the end of March. Thank you for your concern. Thank you for your kind words and everything. So here this morning, what I'd like to talk about is making a difference and making a difference in the world around you. And of course, people make a difference every day by doing big gigantic things. But I think a lot of the really great work that's done in making our world a better place are in really small and sometimes just almost unrecognizable means of kindness and generosity and encouragement and support and things like that. Things that you sometimes you don't even realize you've done. To kind of illustrate that, what I want to share a story, something that actually happened to me this past week. The world of Facebook, one of those things where can be used for good or evil, right? I got a message on Facebook through the messenger from a name that I didn't recognize. I had no idea who this person was. And it turned out to be someone from my neighborhood, and they wrote me just the most wonderful little story about my parents, which was incredible. My parents have been gone. My mom passed in 2003. My dad passed in 2005. And to hear this person come back and share this little story was just amazing. And it really illustrated to me just how these little acts of kindness can come back in ways you just can't believe. So to give you a little background, I grew up in Southwest Philadelphia, which is a community of row homes, what you would call lower middle class, what we would just call sort of poor back then. But we didn't know it. We were really happy. If you, those of you who grew up in cities, you know what a row home community is like. And growing up in the late 60s, 70s, and most of the 80s, it's a very vibrant atmosphere. Everyone knows everybody. Families were really big. If you went down the street and did something you weren't supposed to, there were 5 phone calls before you were able to run back to your house to let your mom and dad know what you did. It was really tight-knit. It was a wonderful place to grow up. And my house in particular, for whatever reason, the way more my mom than my dad worked a lot. My mom was just like this just sweet, really open woman, and our house just seemed to be the magnet for all the outliers in the neighborhood, the not cool people, the poorest among the poor, for whatever reason, gravitated, and they hung out at my house. So at any given time, I'd have just all these strangers sitting at my kitchen table, in my living room, and my mom feeds everybody, right? You come in the house, you get fed. That's the way it worked. So anyway, I do remember this one particular woman who was mentally ill, definitely mentally challenged. I think she was probably a substance abuser as well, and she would be hanging out with my mom all the time. Just loved her. They weren't stealing from us, they weren't doing anything like that. They were just hanging out, and my mom was just doing what she did was just to love everybody. Um, anyway, this woman had a little girl, and I didn't even remember. I hadn't thought about them in years until I got this Facebook message. So the Facebook message that I got was from this little girl who wrote me to just tell me that she ended up doing really great in life, and she credited it to hanging out at my parents' house and the generosity and love that they showed her. Their family was really broken. Like I said, her mom was an abuser, uh, mentally ill, definitely challenged in many ways, and this little girl just had the world stacked up against her. And it turned out that she ended up running away at 18, and now she's married, doing great, has kids, and she credits the stabilized part of her life, I guess you call it, because of the influence of my mom and dad just being there and just loving her, and that was it. That was it. So just I know they weren't expecting her anything from her, and it's just amazing how just those little acts of kindness can just go on, like throwing a pebble in the pond, see how far the ripple goes. So I know it's kind of a rambling, disjointed communication. My apologies for that, but I hope you get the point of what I'm trying to say here. Just just try and make the world better around you by loving on people, just by being kind, just by being thoughtful, little things. Don't expect anything in return. Just make it part of who you are. And for most of you, it is part of who you are. You know that already. So anyway, that's it from Rob K. in the one-quarter man cave in the cold, snowy wasteland of Landenberg this morning. Thanks so much, guys. God bless. Have a great day.